Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Friendship Tour podcast, where we talk about all things friendship. Today's guest is Kina Thornton-Frazier from Newark, Delaware. And Kina and I have been friends since the fifth grade. We met on the school bus the first day of school in the fifth grade. And I'll be honest, she just wouldn't stop staring at me. And I was like, what is her deal? Why is she looking at me? And it turns out she just wanted to be friends. And now, in hindsight, as a grown up, I realized part of the reason she was staring at me was that I was the only other little black kid on the bus. So that was part of it. And then the other part, again, she just wanted to be friends. And friends we have been for, I hate to say it, but over 30 years. Um, I know that's crazy. But Kino was a bridesmaid in my wedding, and I had the honor of singing Ribbon in the Sky as she walked down the aisle on her wedding day. So we are legit lifelong friends. We're going to be friends forever, and I love her. Hey, Kina.
Hey, and I love you right back, Seal.
Thank you.
So good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining. I know you've listened to some of the episodes. You know how this goes. Do you have a favorite friendship moment?
I do. Well, first, I want to say thanks for having me. Like, this is so cool. I think I've been telling friends about your podcast, and as I tell kind of the premise of what the show is about and what you're trying to do, people think it's so cool, and I'm like,
Yay.
like proud friend here. So I'm so
Aw,
proud of you, and I'm excited to be here today.
thank you.
Um, was our bus driver, was that Sally,
It
Miss
was
Sally?
Sally, bus 27. I won't,
Best
I haven't even
bus
forgotten.
ever. Like, I've never forgotten that.
I
And
know.
I don't know. Do people have? I mean, people have favorite teachers, but do they have favorite bus drivers? Like, she was my
Only Sally.
favorite.
She
Only
was an
Sally.
amazing bus driver. She literally, I don't know, she just cared so much about each of the kids on the bus. I
She
remember
did.
sometimes if we were running late, somehow she would wait just a little bit for us. She was just a
Yeah,
great bus driver.
she
She really cared
was.
about us.
Oh my gosh, she was. I often think about her and wonder, where Miss Sally is at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I don't
but
know either.
so cool. Um, okay, favorite friend moment. You talked about our weddings, and I have to tell you that I was so honored when you asked me to be in your wedding. Um, I mean, what a special moment. And I can remember, my memory is terrible, by the way, but I can remember when I walked into your room, like after we had gotten dressed, your bridesmaids had gotten dressed, and I will never forget. We were in your childhood bedroom at your parents' house, upstairs in your bedroom, and seeing your wedding dress hang from, you had like posts on your bed, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, four posts. And I remember seeing your dress walking into your room, and it just took my breath away to
Aw.
be a part of your special day, and to, it was like a moment of reflection, like just thinking back to when I would stare at you on the bus, like, we're going to be friends. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm watching her. We're going to be friends. And fast forward many, many years later to the day of your wedding. And just what an honor. Like, I remember that like it was yesterday. I told you my memory is terrible, but I remember that moment, and seeing your dress and just seeing, just that day was just so amazing. And I don't know if you realize how special it was to be a part of your wedding, but it was truly one of the most special moments of our friendship for me.
Oh, that's the first time you've said that. Thank you for sharing that. I thought it was just understood you would be in my wedding. You were one of my
Mm.
girls since fifth grade, so
Mm.
I couldn't have walked down the aisle without you being by my side. So
So
thank you.
special.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
special. And I also have to say, you know, I can remember at your wedding, um, you know, as a bride, I feel like, you feel this obligation to take pictures with every single person that wants a picture, right?
Mhm.
And I remember trying to be mindful of the fact that you had literally been bouncing around the room, taking pictures. And I just wanted that picture. But like, I understood, you know what I mean? That like, she's done. Like, you're done. Like, there's a point in your wedding where you're just like, okay, I've had enough. Um, and so I felt like I see you, Seal. Like, I get it. You're done. And then fast forward many, many, many years later when I got married, I'll never forget. I was also done,
Yes.
and trying to just do all the pictures and make sure you talk to everyone. And I'll never forget. I think someone took a picture. Maybe it was Brian took our picture, and you might have looked at it and it wasn't a great picture, and you were like, "Wait, can we do it again? Can we do it again?" And I probably was like, ugh, it, and because I could with
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
but you whispered in my ear, you were like, "You're done, are you? Like, you've had enough." And I was like, "Girl, you have no idea." You have no
Yes.
idea. So I appreciate those moments with friends that you can be like, "Oh my gosh,"
Yeah.
So I remember that, and I appreciated being able to share that moment with you. Like, I am over this, but I'm
Yeah.
having such a great time, and it's so wonderful. And you do look back on the pictures, and you appreciate that people took them and sent them to you, and all the things. But only a true friend can, like, I see you.
Yep.
And
I know that look on your face and I know what it means, but I'm gonna still take this picture and you're gonna smile in it. That's how I felt. I was like, I don't
yes,
care. We're still gonna take the picture.
and I'm so glad that we did.
Well, I think you said just now that only your true friends know these things. They only your true friends like know that look in your eye, know
Hmm.
that tone in your voice.
Hmm.
And that was really apparent a couple months ago. You and I don't get to see each other that often, maybe every few years.
Hmm.
And we got to hang out a couple months ago with some other friends, Wendy and Patrice. Hey, ladies.
Hey,
But I was in Delaware. We got to hang out. We had such a fun night.
it was
There
so
was a little
fun.
bit of trash talk, just like this, where you were like, you telling me about myself. I was remembering some things. And then after we hung out, you and I kept exchanging messages.
Hmm.
You were telling me, like, oh, it was so good to see you. It's so nice to have lifelong friends. And then you kind of jokingly said, because sometimes the new friends are a little bit exhausting. And and we laughed and we joked. But I was like, I get it. They're amazing, but a little bit exhausting. So, we went back and forth, and then I thought it would just be a fun topic to maybe not fun for the new friends, but a fun topic to explore on the podcast. So, what did you mean when you typed that? What did you mean when you said new friends could be a little bit exhausting
It's so funny
or
because
tiring? I don't remember
these
how you phrased it.
these things roll off my tongue, and then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, did I just say that?" Yes, I did. Um, but I think so. It's funny because after you brought this to my attention, that I actually did say this, and I was like, "Oh gosh, that could really sound bad or mean," and that's not my intention at all. But I think what I mean by that is, and I'm all about making new friends. Like, I
Mhm.
am, in my 40s. My birthday's on Sunday. Gosh, I hate to. I'm getting old. Um, and so it's hard to meet new friends, but you do come across new people all the time. Like, I'm a mom of two. I still to this day, with athletics and work and, different, you meet friends through friends, whatever the case may be. I'm always open to meeting new friends, but it's almost like they have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
So you meet people, and so I kind of make this decision in my own head, after kind of being around somebody, and maybe part of me staring at you was I was making an evaluation in my head, like, am I going to pursue this friendship?
Right.
And that's kind of how I approach friends. Like, I'm like, I'm figuring out, is this going to be a friendship that I'm going to work for?
Hmm.
Because just like any relationship, being a friend is work. Um, and it's not always hard work, but you have to, especially as you get older, you have to nurture, and you have to care for your friendships, just like any other relationship. And so I almost like, it's like I make a decision. Is this going to be a friendship that, it's like there's levels.
Right.
Am I going to, at some point, I got to catch them up on all the life things that have happened to make me the person that I am. Because at what point in a new friendship does the person know that look that you talked about,
Mm-hmm.
or that, that change in my voice, or that, like, so I feel like, I don't know, I sometimes feel like you have to do a little bit of work, a little bit or a lot of work to catch the person up on just all the things they've missed. Or do you just pick up from now, and the friendship starts now and it just goes forward? But then doesn't, like, what has happened to you in your life, it shapes and molds you as a person, and you kind of want that person to know how you came to this point. So I
Right.
don't know, I guess, I mean, it is exhausting, but you make this, like, you make a decision and you say, okay, I want to put in the work to make this a friendship, a long lasting friendship that I want to keep, or put it in a different bucket. And it's like, we can be friendly. There's a different friends, friendly, you know. Um, and so, it's funny. I was talking to my husband about us doing this episode together. And it's funny because he was calling me out. He said, babe, you are so friendly.
Mm-hmm.
You make it easy for people to want to be friends.
Right.
But it doesn't always mean that you want to open yourself to a friendship.
Hmm.
So it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough and can be exhausting.
It can be. And I agree with your husband's assessment of you. You're very, very friendly and you draw people in. You do. Um, I think that's interesting what you said about there's just so much catching up to do. And right after you texted me about how it can be a little bit tiring, one of my newer friends, and by newer, I mean someone I've met in the last 5 years. I don't even remember who it was. But one of my newer friends, I said, "Oh, I was in Delaware last week." And the friend said, "Why in the world were you in Delaware?" And I was just like, because I'm from Delaware. That's where my parents live. That's where my friends live. And it was just such a funny interaction, but it only contributed to what you had just said, that catching people up can be a little bit exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
So with that friend, I'm sure I had just started from where we are. Like we're mom friends, we both live in California, but
Mm-hmm.
there's this whole 30 something years that you're getting bits and pieces of information, but you're not going to get it all. You're not going to get
Right.
it all at one time. You're definitely not going to, you may not ever get it all, to be
Right.
honest. You may not ever get
Right.
it all. So there's that learning curve of who are you really? Where did you come from?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look on your face mean? What is your baggage? What is your story? What are your dreams? All these things that your friends who've known you a while, they already know.
They
Like
already know.
there's this shorthand, there's this language that older friends have and can use, but with the newer friends, you're still building that. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean you can't do it, but it does take a little bit of energy. It does take
Mm-hmm.
a bit of effort. And it can sound negative to say that it's exhausting, but a lot of the best things in life are exhausting.
It's
I
true.
think about you and I are both mothers. Being a parent is freaking exhausting,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also amazing. So I don't want to give the impression in saying that having new friends is tiring, that
Mm-hmm.
that is necessarily a negative thing. I think if
Right.
it's a great relationship and a great friendship, it is
Mm-hmm.
worth the work. But that
It's worth
doesn't
the work.
mean it's worth the work if it's the right person. If
Correct.
it's the right
Yes.
friendship. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So do
I
you
agree.
think all new friendships are exhausting, or do you think it's a certain personality type that makes it more exhausting sometimes? I don't know.
I don't think they're all exhausting. In fact, I think the ones that are less exhausting are the easier ones
Yes.
to kind of nurture, and they don't take a lot of work. And those I feel like end up being the best ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like as I've gotten older, it's about quality, not quantity. And I have a lot of great friends, don't get me wrong. But as I've gotten older, I just, I, in my work life, I teach, like business development. So
Mm-hmm.
business development marketing, and relationship building is a huge part of business development. And so I think I pour so much into that during the day at work. And so by the time I'm home at night, I am exhausted. And so I have to pick and choose. Am I going to, nurture these new friendships that I've made, or am I going to, you're picking and choosing, like what am I going to put my time and energy into right now?
Right.
So I think personality wise, uh, there are some that are more exhausting than others. And I think part of that is because you don't know each other enough yet to know like what's too much, what's not enough, how
Mm-hmm.
often should we. It's like dating.
It
I
is.
haven't dated in a long time, but it's like it's you know you're trying to figure out, you're dancing, you're trying to figure out what that balance is.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, I had a new friend many moons ago who she very quickly like was calling me her best friend, and I was like, ooh, I
Yes.
don't know. Wait,
Yeah.
you're moving too fast.
Way too fast. Yeah.
So for me, it was like, no, no, pump the brakes.
Yes.
We are just getting to know each other. But yeah, so I think some personalities, some it's personality, yes, and that
Mhm.
it can make it exhausting. But I think the ones that I identify, the ones that I identify as the ones that I want to put the time and effort into, it's likely because the personalities mesh. Like
Mhm.
one's not doing more work than the other, one's not overbearing, one of us isn't, you know what I mean? It's a very even keeled kind of balance that we have, and there's no pressure. That's the other thing. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
Let's take the pressure out of this, and build on this friendship as it happens. And it
Yes.
doesn't have to be all of a sudden we're best friends and I'm your kid's auntie. Like,
Right.
you know, hold on.
I just met you. I'm not their auntie.
We just met.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. I mean, I think that's true for me too. I know there are people who are looking for a bestie. I personally believe that just takes time. You can't there may be some situations where I don't know, you meet in a situation of duress or someone comes to your rescue some kind of way and somehow you become instant best friends. People who go to war experience that a lot. But under normal circumstances, I think I am definitely more of the low maintenance and seeking low maintenance friendships. So if you want to know, I'm good with like starting at this point and then we go from here in our friendship. You don't have to know everything about me. Um, and if you want to know everything about me all at once, sometimes that is a little bit of a turn off for me. Or if you want to hang out all the time,
All the
sometimes
time.
that's a little bit of a turn off for me. Not because I don't like you, but because we're grown and I have all
Yes.
these other things in my life. I have a husband and kids and work and church and other friends, you know? So I think if there's that understanding, it tends to be less tiring for me and more likely to lead to a long-term relationship. It might not be that we are in contact every week, but if I know that every 3 months we're going to have the best lunch ever and I'm going to have so much fun, and then I'll see you again 3 months from now, that's still a great friendship for me. For me, that's still a great friendship.
I love the friends that you kind of can pick up where you left off,
Yeah.
and there's this mutual understanding that that's what it is, and there's nothing wrong with friends like that.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think about the friends that like they're the type of people who you can only be their friend, like they're
Ooh. The territorial friends.
yes, the territory,
Yeah.
yeah, the
I
territorial
mean,
friends.
I think that's unrealistic and unreasonable. We have
Hmm.
full lives. Of course, there are other people I want to be a part of my life.
Right.
Um, I did an episode with Lauren, who you know, my
Hmm.
friend since second grade.
Hey,
And-
Lauren.
Hey, Lauren. But I did an episode with Lauren and her best friend, her other best friend, Talipa.
Hmm.
And it was kind of like that. I know jealousy comes in to some relationships when other friends get involved, but again, I just try to be low maintenance and keep it all cool. Like, if you're a lovable person, I have to accept if I love you, someone else might love you
Someone
too.
exactly.
So it's all cool. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean it's always going to be amazing when we're all together, but
Mixing the
I
friend groups.
sometimes it
Mm.
works, sometimes it doesn't. But
Hmm.
I expect you to have other friends. It's actually less work for me if you have other friends. I can't meet all of someone's social, emotional,
Yeah.
friendship, fun needs. Like
Right.
some of the things you think are fun, I don't think are fun.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm glad that you have other friends who you can have that
You
kind of
can
fun
do
with.
those things.
And
Yeah.
vice versa, you know? So that whole one friend meets all my needs thing, that doesn't work for me. It just doesn't
Hmm.
work for me.
I feel the same.
Well, okay. I think we kind of went like new friends are a little bit tiring, but tiring in the best way, but actually still kind of tiring. So let's end on how amazing new friends can be.
Absolutely.
So I am definitely team more friends. I love the idea of friendship, at least quality friendship. I'm not into just
Quality.
numbers for the sake of numbers. If
Yes.
you quality friends at any stage of life, I'm down with all that.
Hmm.
I think new friends are amazing for a couple of reasons. Like, on the one hand, they don't know all your backstory, they don't know your history. The amazing part, they don't know your baggage, they don't know your backstory, they don't know your history. Like, so you
There's
can,
that.
in some ways, omit the things that you don't want to take with you into the next season of your life. They don't have
Mm,
to know that stuff. You can just keep it moving. They don't need to know.
that's a good way of
Um,
looking at it.
yeah, I mean, and I think too, sometimes there are things that are special to us, and our old friends are
Hmm.
tired of hearing about it. Like, we've told the same story over and over and over again. But our
Hmm.
new friends, they're going to be excited when we tell that story. And so it's
Hmm.
kind of fun to
Hmm.
tell an old story to new ears. So that's,
That's true.
yeah, I
Good
like
point.
that aspect of new friendship.
Yeah.
I also like that there's some mystery. So if you're doing it at the right pace, un- unveiling some of those things that happened in 10th grade and happened in 6th grade and happened in your 20s, it's like this onion. Like, you get to peel back and get to know
Yes.
your friend at um, different points in time. You know, it might
Hmm.
take you a few years to get there, but it's exciting. It's
Hmm.
exciting in a way that older friends, no offense, aren't always exciting. Okay. So I
I
think there's,
fully agree. I
yeah,
fully
so
agree.
there's
That's a
some
good.
excitement
Yeah.
in the process of making new friends.
Yeah.
I would just say there's room for both. There's room for the old friends and the new friends. Both can be a little tiring or exhausting or challenging just in unique ways, but I think there's definitely room for both.
Hmm. I agree. That's a, peeling back the onion.
Peeling back the onion. Yeah. Just not all on one day. Not all
Just
on one day.
not all in one day.
Because that makes people cry. Like, getting the onion all at one time, the eyes watering, literally and figuratively. It's too much.
Yes.
It's too
It's
much.
too much.
Too
I
much.
love that.
Well, thank you, Bean. I love you so
Yes, I love
much.
you. I love you.
I loved the conversation. Tell your husband thanks for talking through it. Next time we'll get him
I'm
since,
gonna bring him with me next
yeah,
time.
next time, since he had so much to contribute in
Oh,
advance.
he did.
Next time we'll talk to him too.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well,
See
thank you. I
y'all.
love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.